Oh, hi there. So you want to learn Japanese? Well, let me tell you. How to learn Japanese. One word. Exposure. Now I know what you're thinking. Adults can't learn through exposure. Only children can. Well, that's bullshit. Adults actually learn faster than children. Think about how long it took you to learn English. You probably couldn't even read a solid novel until you were in high school. Well, after being exposed to Japanese for probably a third of that time, you could read the equivalent novel in Japanese. Adults are smarter and they learn faster. It should be common fucking sense. So, let's get into it. You're gonna need Japanese audio playing 24/7, except while you're sleeping, unless you don't mind your sleep getting fucked up. Now, my apologies to anyone whose work prevents them from listening to audio 24/7. But that still leaves open half your day to be listening to Japanese, unless of course you work for a black geisha, in which case you're kind of fucked. Now, read as much as possible. And yes, in order to do this, you will have to grind the kana. There's no other way. You have to just knock them out within 1 or 2 days. But furigana is going to be your friend. Use a magnifying glass if it's too small. Loads of manga have furigana. Some video games even have furigana. Just read that shit. And do you have to buy manga? Yes, you have to buy shit. You have to buy media to expose to, unless you are a skilled pirate. The exposure is going to come from the media first and foremost. Even if you have a Japanese guy or girl to converse with, you're still going to get the majority of your exposure from media. That's how you get the constant flow of exposure. No, it does not matter if you're comprehending shit. It does not matter. Remember when you were a dumb, stupid baby and everyone just talked to you, even though you had no idea what they were saying? That's because they know that you instinctually pick it up eventually. 99% of language is just reflexive, subconscious association. It's much more of a physical thing than an intellectual thing. And most people do not realize that. So you're going to want to double layer your listening. Have the news or something on constantly, even when you're listening to music, watching anime, or playing a game. The best way to double layer is to have one piece of media using speakers while the other is using headphones. NHK Radio is a good place if you want some politically biased vanilla news. And Hibiki is a good place if you want to hear seiyus fucking around with each other for money. Now, audio dramas are also your friend, because a lot of the dialogue is written in those in such a way that they kind of have a more explanatory flavor, due to the fact that they don't have any visual accompaniment. So they're a good way to pick up vocab. Watch, read, and listen to the same shit many, many times over. This isn't incredibly relevant at an advanced stage, but for the first 3 years or so, while you're at a beginner and intermediate stage, you have to repeat shit. You have to play shit over, read shit over. You'll notice yourself inherently understanding a lot more of a work on the 15th round than the first round. Now, Rikai-kun and Jisho are excellent tools, but don't overuse them. Looking up definitions is vital, but you need to remember that reading the definition for a word doesn't mean you know it. You know a word when you reflexively respond to it with the intended physical reaction, and dictionaries can't help you with that. So, Jisho has every kanji's strokes, the stroke order, animated. And definitely check those out here and there when you see some new kanji. You don't necessarily have to bust out pen and paper and copy them. You can do the air tracing just like the real Japanese do. So I also would not neglect the Jap to Jap dictionary. Here and there, read the definitions for a Japanese word in Japanese, and you can use Rikai-kun to help you understand those. And make a list of vocab words that you think are useful, only the ones you think are useful, and then just skim over them here and there. Now, weeb music is going to be your friend. The lyrics can get stuck in your head, which really helps establish a strong connotation to those words. You can really knock in some vocab much quicker than if you're just hearing conversations. And this is incredibly useful, especially in a beginner stage. So trying to read the lyrics while listening is a very good exercise as well. So if you can, try to switch out every bit of non-Japanese music for Jap music. If you're like me, you've kind of already been doing that most of your life. So visual novels are also absolutely invaluable. They are much easier to understand than a regular novel because of the pictures and the audio. And they also, if they have voice acting, you're getting listening exposure as well, which is really helpful, especially if the protagonist is voice, which will often double the amount of spoken words. So, subtitled anime is very good too, if you can find it. And it is hard to find sometimes. I know 2 sites that have it. I know 1 site that hosts downloadable subtitle files. Occasionally, anime Blu-rays will have it. They often don't. And the thing about them is that sometimes the subtitles, if you didn't get them from an official product, they can be a little off here and there, but it's not something to really worry about. It's pretty rare from my experience. And they're not going to fuck you up too bad. So, don't worry about following all of these tips exactly. As long as you employ a good amount of those tips, you will get fucking fluent, man. You will get fluent. So now, why? Why learn Japanese? Reason number 1, subs are shit. They inherently make anime watching more of a shitty reading activity than anything. There's no time to just sit back and take in the audio and the visuals and really digest that shit. From what I understand anyway, our good friends over at Crunchyroll and my anime list are trying to make fan subs extinct. So yeah. Reason 2, nuance and original intention are invariably lost in translation. A great translation is a very rare thing. It's the norm for translations to lose out on all the nuance of every vocab choice that the writer, packed into this work. And, not to mention that many translations just flat out have mistakes, either minor or major of some kind or another. Reason 3, many awesome things are not translated and never will be. There is a whole world of awesome media out there to tickle your otaku glands that's just never going to come over or isn't going to come over for a long time. And you are missing out on that shit. Reason number 4, you enjoy shit more. Like seriously, we start getting really autistic past teenage years, especially us anime watchers. We often act like we fully comprehended a work just because we understood everything that was said. Enjoy the refreshing world of not understanding anything and seeing just how much information you're ignoring. Reason number 5, you gain a deeper understanding of otaku and otaku culture. If you know Japanese, you can get it all straight from the horse's mouth. If you want to listen to that tool, Yutaka Yamamoto, go on a self-intoxicated rant about the industry, you can do that. If you want to watch that tub of lard, Toshio Okada, go into tears over the fact that he's not relevant anymore, well then you can do that too. If you just want to check out 5chan, you can do that. If you want to help Japan wage the cultural war, you can do that. A lot of this stuff just isn't translated and never will be. It's the Japanese internet, you know? You'll find yourself understanding otaku media in ways that you just were not possible if you didn't know Japanese. And you want to know how I know that the Animeman is a fucking piece of shit fraud? The dude knows Japanese, and yet he rarely ever uses it for any of the above reasons I said. The dude is just bought, plain and simple. He has no love for the otaku, no love for otaku works, and absolutely no self-respect. I mean, maybe he could have been a real otaku if he didn't have the self-confidence and spine of just an animated pile of trash. But for now, may true God have mercy on his lost soul. Reason number 6, learning Japanese justifies your media consumption. No longer are you being a dame ningen for playing an eroge for 20 hours straight. You are studying Japanese for 20 hours straight. When's the last time you ever saw anyone study anything for 20 hours straight? And finally, the most important reason to learn Japanese. It is the language of true God. If you want to hear her word and have your words be heard by her, then you must speak the sacred language, my friend. And I really want to start separating the wheat from the chaff in the anime community. And the willingness and commitment to learning the sacred language probably means that you're not part of the chaff. Anyway, that's that. Probably the best language learning advice you'll ever receive. And I'm working on my next big video for the otaku culture, as well as my next godlike analysis video. So look forward to those in the coming weeks. And also, Index is back on TV for the first time in a little bit over 7 years. So expect a couple mind-blowing long rants on that. And yeah, in true God we trust.